What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Johnny Cage will be in the Mortal Kombat movie. So this is obviously something that was picked up by people online quite heavily, after the trailer came out. Now, I did a reaction to the trailer, not with my face, but I talked about the trailer on my main channel a few days ago, and I really liked it. I really, really liked it. There were notable characters. Katana is another one that were left out of there, okay? And I think obviously on Twitter it started to become like an actual thing where people are like asking, hey, like, where's Johnny Cage? It became a thing that even like Screen Rant wrote an article about it, and they point out some things that I do want to talk about. I think Screen Rant does a pretty overall decent job. I don't necessarily agree with all the stuff that they say, but I do think that, I don't agree with, the mindset. But I do agree, maybe there are stuff going on like that with this movie. So that's what we're going to do here. I personally do want Johnny Cage in this movie, so I'm not somebody that doesn't want him, okay? I think that they would be, well, I wouldn't say they're missing out, because at the same time, we don't really know, how this movie is going to end up going, right? So they point to a couple different things. The first thing they point to is the new character, okay? Cole Young, who is a brand new character who will serve as the film's main protagonist. Cole fills the same outsider audience surrogate role that Cage filled in the original movie, and it's likely the writers opted to remove him from the ensemble so as to put the more narrative focus on the rest of the cast. Now, let's stop there, okay? I see where they're coming from. I think that could be a reason, but let me tell you, in terms of is that a good idea? I don't necessarily think they couldn't do the opposite, okay? If they had Johnny Cage in there, I don't think he would take away from a main character. I really don't. Obviously, this movie is very focused on Scorpion, Sub-Zero. Sonya seems to have a pretty, solid part to play in it as well. Johnny Cage wouldn't be the main character, but they almost kind of frame it where, well, if he's in the movie, he's going to take, all of the spotlight, and, you can't have that happen from, the main character. So, maybe that's how the director thought. Maybe that's how, everybody working on the film, maybe that's what they thought as well. I don't agree with that line of thinking. I think you could still, pull it off, have him in the movie. He doesn't need to be the main character, but you have him in the movie. The next part is the focus of characters on Asian descent. So, again, this is not where I necessarily, agree, I understand that this is what's going on, that a lot of people think like this, and that the movie thinks like this, and that, that is very well could be a reason. I'm not behind it. And I'm not against minorities. I'm not against this or that. It is great to see. And, we saw, I think the actor for, I don't even know who it was. I think Sub-Zero, he posted, on Instagram the day before the trailer came out, and he talked about how, the people of color, in this movie, just people that aren't, I guess, white males, I think is kind of what he meant to say. And again, I don't like that whatsoever. Okay, I'm okay with giving other races, other ethnicities, all this stuff. They can have the spotlight, but to say this is a stunning and brave thing, or you should be so proud because we're putting all of these other things, or all these other people, or all these other races up to the front, it doesn't make you some sort of I don't even know what it makes you. You know what I mean? So and I've talked about this before. Hopefully I'm not coming across tone deaf or something. You guys can watch other videos of mine, I think, to get a better sense of where I am. I just don't want to see the movie for the sole reason, you should see Mortal Kombat because we have minorities, upgraded in this movie. That's not a good reason to see anything. Whenever you have anybody that says, hey, go see this movie because it's a female-led film, I mean, immediately I'm going to say, well, that's a stupid reason. You can have a female be the lead, but to say that you need to go see the movie because of that is dumb, is really dumb, because then that, I think, immediately already signals to me that they're not going to have much character. Now, I don't think that's going to happen here. I think that's literally just what he's saying. I do think all these characters are actually going to be, most of them at least, are going to be pretty darn good. Again, I do think this makes sense. I think it makes sense to them that if you're gonna have a cast of of a lot of different races and all this kind of stuff, to have Johnny Cage, especially if he is more of a main role. But yet again, Sonya, I mean, Sonya's a white female, so I guess because she's a girl, it's okay, right? But I guess I understand where they're coming from with this Johnny, with if you go down that line of thought with Johnny Cage. So that's what they say. Those are their two reasons. So the biggest question again is, will he be in this movie? I will go with a bold prediction. I think yes. I think he really will be in this movie. I think that He probably won't be in it much, if not even at all in the film. Maybe he'd be like an after credit scene. Maybe he would be like a cameo. I think, even based off just the trailer, okay, we only have one trailer, I think they're going to have a lot of characters in this movie. Obviously, we have the core cast, and I don't think the core cast is going to be expanded upon in the film, like during the film. So what I'm saying is, like, we have the main, like, we have Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Sonya, Jax, and you can keep listing, right? There's like 4 or 5 more. That's your main group, and you're not gonna have somebody like Johnny Cage. Well, yet again, like Katana, I think people kind of expect too. I don't know. I would say maybe you probably wouldn't have people that are beyond that group in your movie as like a really big character where you spend a lot of time with them. I feel like we got most of them, if not all of them, here. I do think they can show up. Maybe they can be battles just in general. Like Katana could show up and just be one fight. You know what I mean? Somebody else could show up and just be one fight. They could show up at the ending. They could show up in the after credits scene. I do think those things are possible. I think those things are likely with characters like the stature of Johnny Cage. Now, other characters that we've seen come and go through the 5,000 Mortal Kombat games, I think they could very well just, again, be like a pop-in, be a cameo from time to time, again, be like one fight, or they're in the background somewhere, like something like that. I think a lot of characters are going to be shown like that that we're not even expecting, okay? But I think characters like a Johnny Cage, if they're in this movie, which I want him to be, and I hope he is, and I think he probably will be, I think he's kind of reserved to like one line, like a cameo, maybe in like the middle of the movie where like he would eventually, like, he'll come back later, like in the next movie. You could have him at the very end. You could have him be an after credit scene, something like that. And also, it's pretty hard to put such an emphasis on Sonya. Like, again, I think Sub-Zero and Scorpion obviously and Cole obviously are like the main 3, I would almost argue, of this film, from what it seems like, okay? And it could seem wrong. When we actually see the movie, it could be very different. But those 3 seem to be in the lead. But Sonya seems to have a rather big part. And obviously, her and Johnny Cage are, they're off and on again throughout, the history, but they're very closely, connected with each other. And I think that, how can you really go without having him at some point? You know what I mean? I could see the ending, maybe if it sends all our characters off, maybe she like runs into him, maybe she bumps into him down the street. Some of that's kidding, okay? But I really do think they could do a very small cameo, a very small like one-liner, like she bumps into him or he's at the fight or something where they interact like one time. I could see that. And then, I'm not opposed to having more Mortal Kombat movies. If this movie does really, really well, why not? I mean, obviously, movies made from games, and this movie is already, or this franchise has already had that happen a few times, isn't always, a lock to be good. And the amount of times that we get a sequel for these kind of things is even less than the amount of times that these things are good. You know what I mean? Tomb Raider getting a second movie is kind of like the most surprising thing in this planet. The first Tomb Raider was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. I would say it was just flat out okay, and they're getting a second movie, which is very surprising. If this movie is good, I do hope they make more, and I hope that they expand the cast, which I do think they would do. So let me know in the comments below, guys. What do you think? Do you think Johnny Cage will be in it? Do you think other characters won't be in it? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I do a brand new video every single day on this channel. And so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.